respective communities, except for a few local governments that are still working tirelessly day and night to make sure they also go back to their community. So just a matter of time. And I want them to be patient. It is something we inherited for over 12 years. But thank God now, things are changing for the better in Zamfara State.
Governor Dauda Lawal, thank you so much. It's also a day that we are remembering.
This channel not only feed your eyes with good movies, we also bring you the hottest and the newest trend around the globe. My darlings, sit tight and enjoy this one.
Tonight, let's jump and take an advantage since we have over the broadband the governor of Zamfara State, who has in the last few days been dealing with a few issues. And we'll come back to the studio to discuss with the Minister of Communications about broadband issues. Governor Dauda Lawal is live for us from Zamfara. Happy New Year, and it's good to see you, Governor.
Happy New Year, Sharon. How are you?
I'm all right. Let's begin. What exactly are the issues? Because we are hearing conflicting issues as regarding the airstrike incident in your state. And we do know that top military officers are on the ground to look at what is going on. What can you tell us from the purview of the government of the state?
Well, thank you very much, Sharon. Like you rightly mentioned, we've been battling issues within the last 3 days as a result of the air strike that hit some individuals in two of our local government communities. That is in Zurmi and one of the local governments, and that was as a result of the strike by the Air Force. Let me say this, as a governor, I had full information as regard to what happened on that fateful day, because we made a distress call to the Air Force in terms of some bandits that were attacking communities. And they quickly responded, and they were able to neutralize a lot of bandits. However, on the second time, when we made the same report, the same Air Force came back. Unfortunately, as at that time, there was some, what we call the CPG and some of those communities that also came to rescue those under attack. And in the process, they were hit by the Air Force. And I believe that was not intentional. It was one of those things that in this kind of situation, sometimes there may be some collateral damage. And that was exactly what happened within the last 3 days.
How then are you handling this situation? Because you've emphasized that collateral damage is often an unintended consequence. How do you explain to these affected families, and how are they coping? Have you seen them? Have you been able to interact with them though?
Yes, what I did was to set a very powerful delegation led by my deputy governor, who was there to do on-the-spot assessment and also be able to commiserate with the families of those that lost their lives. And in the process, this whole thing was fully explained. And they quite understood that it was not intentional. It was in the process of fighting these bandits, they were struck. And they fully understood. But the good thing also, the Chief of Air Staff have set up a committee, a very powerful committee that came to Zamfara yesterday, first to commiserate with the state government as well as the people that were affected. And they also went there yesterday to do on-the-spot assessment to see who and who was involved and what happened in order to guide against future occurrence of such attack.
Now, let's look at the area. One will imagine that the operation in that area was specific and perhaps targeted. What would you say that the area looked like? It can give one an imagination of what was on the mind of the operatives and perhaps the error that happened there. Is that an enclave of these insurgents or these bandits?
Well, Sherwin is an area where I can say those bandits hibernate. And that is an area we have constant attack from these bandits. that is around Zurmi and very close to Maradi. It's between a border of Zurmi local government and Maradi local government. And it's not a very, very clear area, because of the nature of the terrain. It's a hilly environment. And therefore, in most cases, looking at how they operate the Air Force, it will be very difficult from that far to determine who was actually there at the point in time. And that was exactly what happened. And like I said, it wasn't intentional. And we have to deal with the situation as it is. And we truly commiserate with the people of that area. And we had fully explained what government is doing in order to secure their life. But in the process, mistakes do happen. But the most important thing is, what do we do to guide future occurrence of such? And that is exactly what the Air Force are doing in conjunction or in relationship with the state government. And it's an ongoing process as we speak.
Now, there will be definitely fears, and those who are near or far to these communities would then have some fears, because when and these are people who are perhaps going about their normal daily innocent activities, and then they are affected. There are those who will believe that maybe civilians are not safe. The question here will be, were you aware that there was going to be a strike on operation of the military before this happened?
I was fully informed. In fact, I was the one that called the Air Force to inform them of the bandit attack in that community. So we're fully aware, and it's part of their quick response in order to save the situation. And they did their best. The first strike, they were able to take out a lot of bandits. And then they came back for the second time after we reported to them. And what they saw was a movement of people on motorcycles carrying guns, and they were mistaken for bandits.
Okay, so there are those who will say maybe we need some more intelligence to carry out this kind of coordinated and targeted operations by the military. Are you involved? Because I know you set up a group of locals as a first layer of defense for the people of Zamfara state. Is there a synergy with the local security initiative that you set up and the joint task force or the military in general? Is there kind of synergy? Do they work on the same template? Do they have perhaps some digital way of coordinating some of this offensive?
Sharon, part of the successes we are recording today in terms of this fight against banditry is because of the synergy between the military as well as the state government and the community protection guard that are the first line of defense that was set up sometimes last year by my administration. So yes, there's a complete synergy between the CPG and the armed forces, or rather all the security agencies that are operating in Zamfara state. And like I said, we made this distress call because of the attack of certain communities, and the Air Force responded quickly. In the process, yes, certain communities were hit, which was not intentional. And we are looking at the situation so as to guard against future occurrence of this kind of event. It wasn't just civilian, it was the civilian JTF. They were hit. They were mistaken for bandit. And it was within the same area that they struck the first time. Those people actually came to rescue those under attack. That was what happened, and that was the incident that took place.
Tungakara is not far from some of these farming communities. And I do know that you have taken up an initiative for agriculture in Zamfara state. My worry is the impact on these on harvest. What are you doing immediately to salvage the situation?
No. We're busy around the state, not just in one local government. Almost in all the local government, we provide security agencies to take care of the farmers who are harvesting their crops. And they are doing wonderfully. I can say that the security situation in Zamfara has improved drastically. What I want is to maintain the tempo so that this thing will become history within the shortest possible time in Zamfara State and part of northern Nigeria.
I know that yourself and some of your colleague governors have submitted your propositions for state policing. Now, in your mind, if you have your...
You're watching Nolly Magic TV. My joy is to keep you updated with latest gist. And your joy should be subscribing to this channel and giving this video a thumbs up, please.
Way, and if you have the powers or the 100% power to protect the citizens of Zamfara, what would you do differently?
Well, if I would have the complete power to be in charge of all the security operatives in my state, like I said in my recent interview or previous interview, this banditry issue, within 1 month, we should be able to take them out. It's not impossible.
So I'm talking about strategy. You have it in your mind, and you know the nook and cranny. You are Zamfara born, flesh, blood, and in spirit. You know your people very well. You know all the local government areas. You know the soft spots. You know the vulnerable spots in the state. So I'm asking, strategically speaking, and I don't know what you have put in your proposition, in your own proposal at the national level at NEC. What exactly would you do differently in terms of architecture, in terms of recruitment, in terms of remuneration? What would you do differently to have a change if you have your way 100%?
Well, Sherwin, is a combination of so many factors, like you mentioned. One, of course, training is key, planning is key, support is key in terms of, the kind of remuneration that you're giving to the security forces in order to encourage them. In fact, insurance is also key. In the event that somebody is killed, at least insurance will cover everything for him, and he doesn't have to, be worried about his family being left behind. So, it's a total overhaul of the system. And I believe if we're able to do that, it will go a long way in boosting the morale of our security operatives to handle this kind of situation effectively without any fear.
Give us an understanding about these bandit leaders. Up to now, we see bail authority is still nowhere in sight. Does that give you any kind of worry, though?
Well, I believe bail liturgy is just a matter of time. His days are numbered, because I can see the commitment from the armed forces in terms of taking bail liturgy out. In fact, that same axis where the incident took place is actually the axis of bail liturgy. And I'm sure now bail liturgy is is hiding somewhere, but it's just a matter of time. We will get him very, very soon. I'm confident, I'm optimistic, and I believe the armed forces also, this time around, they are ready to do that. And that was exactly what we've been talking about all these days, all these years, so that at least they remain committed in fighting this menace.
I imagine, based on your background from the private sector, interestingly, I have the Minister of Communications here, who may be sharing some ideas on how you can digitally protect your state. But because of your background also, you might have an idea of how digital security might work in your state, considering the vast areas, the landmass, and the borders of your state. And considering the fact also that your state borders, other states that are suffering or battling some kind of insecurity problems. The issue of border control is a big issue. How do you digitally monitor are you thinking in that direction? Because it's almost difficult or almost impossible to man every inch of the borders of the
state. Let me make a categorical statement here, Sherwood. Even though I may not be able to tell you the details, because of the nature of security, but I will tell you that confidently, technology is the key in fighting banditry, and we've gone far. We've made so much investment in the area of technology to fight this menace. And I can also say that it's one of the reasons why now we're recording so many successes in terms of fighting this banditry in Zamfara state and some of the neighboring states.
So let me ask, do you have some central monitoring mechanism such that in the state capital, you can almost have your eyes on what is going on? I know in some other countries, you saw the operations, how they took out some of the terrorist leader. When America wanted to fight some of the terrorist leader, they sat there in DC, and the commander-in-chief was sitting right behind the generals and were making order. And at the point when they wanted to take out the terrorist leader, they made that order away, kilometers away. Do you have that kind of technology at the moment in Zamfara?
Sharon, we have gone far as technology is concerned in fighting banditry. Like I said, it's one of the reasons why we're recording so much successes in this fight against bandits. Part of the reason why we're able to give information to the Air Force is because of the investment in technology, and that is yielding positive results. That is all I can say in the media right now. But yes, we've gone far than that.
I know you are choosing your words because of the situation, but all right then. Let's go on a short break, everyone. But when we return, of course, we'll conclude our conversation with the Zamfara State Governor. And don't forget, the Minister of Communications, Dr. Boson Tijani, is with me in the studio, and we'll be right back, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. The governor of Zamfara State, Governor Lawal, has been speaking with us. So the question I was asking earlier on about getting your commitment that no longer will the people of Zamfara State sleep with their eyes, they've not been able to close their eyes, their livelihoods, their lives, anything they're dependent on being threatened by these bandits. And perhaps how much of this technology and digitally aided equipment can help protect them. That's the kind of commitment I thought that you were going to give them tonight. Are you able to do that, Governor?
Well, Cheryl, let me confirm this to you that we have invested so much in the area of technology in fighting banditry. And as I said, part of the success we are recording now is because we invested so much in the area of technology. And I can assure the people of Zamfara State, very soon they should be able to go to sleep with their two eyes closed. It's an ongoing process, and we are fully perfecting the system as far as technology is concerned.
Let me ask you quickly, what did you capture in your proposal, in your state policing concept? What did you capture? Can you give us an insight into that?
No, when you say capture, what exactly are you talking about?
What was your own proposition? What is Zamfara State's position on state policing?
No. We're actually in support of the state policing. We submitted our own memorandum, and I'm sure it's being looked at. And not just Zamfara, almost about more than 90% of the states are for the police, state police.
Now,
can have control. Yeah.
2025 is right here. What is your own idea of governance for the people of Zamfara State?
Well, I'm sure the people are seeing the dividend of democracy in every aspect, be it in terms of security, be it in the area of education, be it in the health factor, agriculture, as well as infrastructure. We've gone so far and we made significant progress in all these aspects. Like I always said, I would invite you to Zamfara to come and see for yourself, because seeing is believing. You agree with me that there has been significant progress so far in Zamfara State in all these aspects. And it's an ongoing process. By the time we spend 2 years in office, you will clearly see the difference between before and after.
The plight of persons that are displaced in all of this issue is a major one. The internally displaced persons, what are their hopes?
Most of the people now have gone back to their respective communities, except for a few local governments that are still working tirelessly day and night to make sure they also go back to their community. So just a matter of time. And I want them to be patient. It is something we inherited for over 12 years. But thank God now, things are changing for the better in Zamfara State.
Governor Dauda Lawal, thank you so much. It's also a day that we are remembering the fallen heroes, those who have fought gallantly on the front lines to protect our nation. Do you have a final word for some of them and their families?
Yes, I was there today to commiserate with people that lost their lives in the process. And I also made a commitment of support for the family of our fallen heroes. I will also continue to give assistance to the current armed forces. And that is the way forward. We are really concerned about their welfare. And I believe this will go a long way in helping their situation. May their soul rest in peace.
Amen. Thank you, Governor Dauda Lawal, for from some of the insights you've given on the update on what is happening in your state. I wish you the very best and a peaceful Zamfara State in 2025.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you for having stayed to the end of this video. You made me really happy. One more thing, click on the notification bell so anytime I make a video, you will be the first to be notified. See you on the next one.